In this video, let me first quickly go over a few clouds that I added in and later on spend the time cleaning up the foreground plate section. Now between the last video and this one, I went ahead and extracted clouds from another image using the same techniques I showed before and brought them over into our matte painting. Now let me show you what I extracted. There you go. And I dropped them into our matte painting and used some basic techniques to blend them in. The folder is called midground clouds, that is mg_clouds. Let me show them to you. So isolating that layer, as you can see, those are the clouds which I brought them over. Now to blend them in, we added curves, a color balance and a hue saturation. Similarly, we have some painted clouds, again done by a soft brown brush, just to add some depth on the mountain. And the same layer of clouds from the image was positioned in a different spot and adjusted in with curves and hue saturation, again similar to all the techniques I have shown you in the previous video. Now the next thing we can turn our attention to is to clean and extend the foreground. So heading into the foreground folder, let me make sure we are in the right folder, the left folder. Yeah, that is correct. That is, let's make a new layer on top. Call that ground extension. Now switching to my clone stamp tool, we're going to clone in the rest of the section. So sampling from the plate. Now for the options under the clone stamp tool, I have my sampling set to current and below. Again, sampling from different points to just add that variation so that we're not getting any repetitive patterns. Now going over to the right side, let us clean up this edge so that it blends in a little bit better with our barrier. So all this time I'm just painting into the mask, making a new layer on top and calling it paint. Using a chalk brush and sampling the snow color, just going to start painting in the part of snow which is being hit by the sunlight coming from the valley. Switching to an eraser just to remove off a few of the strokes. Now just as before, I keep switching on between my brush and my eraser. Now the quickest way to do this might be to add lighting directly onto our left side rather than adding it from the right side. So heading back to the left side, I made a new layer and I'm painting the lighting on that one. Selecting and adding a new curves layer, switching on my black and white value. So let us push up these values so that the value of the snow on the lake bed is the same as that on the right mountain, that is the right foreground mountain. Now filling the layer mask with black and using a soft round brush to start adding my light in. I'm also keeping things consistent with the directionality of the light. Now let's head over and color correct it so that our highlight is having the same tonality as the snow which is getting hit by the light. Heading into my blue channel and later on the red channel and adjusting it so that the values are getting close. Again, switching over and refining my layer mask. Just tweaking it to emphasize the directionality of the light. Next, let's head over to the sci-fi base and add some highlights to the buildings. Now, one thing which is quickly catching my eye is that these highlights are not that strong. If we want our building to stand out, we need to emphasize these highlights as well. So going into my paint layer, let me start giving this a little bit more boost. And I'm just sampling colors directly from the snow. Alright, so this small little addition is helping our object to stand out a little bit more. Now in the next lesson, let us continue working on our sci-fi base.